So, Greenwald was talking about a hearing they were having, discussing how Twitter handled the Hunter Biden laptop story, and he was reacting to what AOC was saying. She was calling for censorship, and he destroyed her on the issue of censorship and free speech. So let's take a look at that.
Here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She out of nowhere began complaining and screaming and whining about how Twitter didn't censor enough tweets about her. I know you'll be shocked to learn that she tried to turn it into a hearing about herself and her own victimhood, claiming that Donald Trump's tweets inspired hatred against her and demanding to know why Twitter didn't do more to delete them. In other words, she wanted more censorship. That was her anger, was that they allowed the sitting president of the United States to speak too freely. I think she was the only one on either side of the aisle in this committee hearing who kept asserting that the authenticity of these materials remains in doubt to this very day. Nobody thinks that. The New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, CBS have all acknowledged, now that the election is safely over, that they could fully authenticate these materials. It takes a level of audacity, or maybe it's just ignorance. I actually think that's what it was. She has no idea what she's talking about. She shows up for these hearings looking for dramatic moments that will viralize on social media. I don't think she knows that every major media outlet has authenticated these materials. I authenticated them. Many media outlets authenticated them before the election. But the ones she trusts have now come out and said there's no question, not only are they authentic, but the story about how they made their way first to the FBI and then to the Rudy Giuliani and the New York Post was entirely true. But what she's really angry about is that any of this is even being looked into at all. She continues to call this authentic archive disinformation. I mean, she's just a blatant liar. I'm really asking that. Even a lot of the Democrats on the committee were willing to acknowledge that the materials are authentic. No one to this day calls that disinformation anymore, except her. She considers to this day what the New York Post did to be immoral, even though it was accurate reporting, because the only moral metric they recognize, as Sam Harris said, is whether or not it helps defeat Donald Trump.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
So, they were having a hearing on the Hunter Biden laptop story. During the 2020 election, the Hunter Biden laptop story came out. Glenn Greenwald covered it. It was covered in the New York Post. But the mainstream media companies, they wanted to censor it, and Twitter censored it at the time because they called it Russian disinformation, because because the shit lib media, they're all in bed with the shit lib pro-war Democrats. And Hunter Biden, the story revealed that Hunter Biden was paid by Burisma, a Ukrainian gas company. They want us to believe that Russia's the corrupt country when Ukraine is letting their gas company, Hunter Biden on their gas company. It's crazy. But they wanted to smear people for telling the truth about the Hunter Biden laptop story. However, now that the election is over, now even the mainstream publications, even they are acknowledging that the Hunter Biden laptop story happened, what was reported was the truth. But AOC, she still wants to call it misinformation and defend the corrupt shit lib Democrats. And people think that the Democratic Party can be redeemed. It's hilarious. So, the same people who lied to us about Russiagate, the same people who lied to us about Syria, are in favor of spreading misinformation. And you need to have, in a open, liberal society, you need to have journalists who are going to report the truth. What I believe is that it shouldn't matter who wins the election, whether or not a story affects the election, that the truth needs to be reported to the public. But politicians like AOC, they don't believe in freedom of the press, and they don't believe in freedom of speech. They just want to protect themselves against criticism as a shield. What the left is supposed to believe in is freedom of speech. And that means that no one should get kicked off of social media platforms. If the big tech companies want to kick people off of their platforms, then alternative platforms like Rumble are going to rise and they're going to go out of business. And that's why people smear Jimmy Dore for interviewing one of the Boogaloo Boys, because they want to smear him and censor him and take his freedom of speech away, because he actually does believe in freedom of speech. He actually does believe in talking to people. And it's sad to say, the only people who are standing up for freedom of speech are people like Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everyone else in the squad, everyone else is just promoting censorship. People like the Young Turks, people like Kyle Klinsky, people like Ryan Grimm, they're all promoting censorship. And it's sad, it makes me sad to say it. But I'm happy to say that these people are getting erased. They're getting destroyed by their own audiences. YouTube's taking the dislikes away from their videos because they're getting owned by their own audiences. So people are turning away from them, unsubscribing from them because they see the truth. You got knocked the fuck out, man. You got knocked the fuck out, AOC.